Hello, lovely podcast people. I hope you're well. This podcast is off the top of my head, not particularly going to contain any references or any research. But we'll see where it goes. Who knows what will happen? So I give a lot of stick, rightly so, to the likes of doctors, registered dietitians, registered nutritionists, and I don't feel like I've given much stick to bad personal trainers. And obviously the stick I give to the aforementioned individuals, I'm only giving stick to the bad ones. And one of the reasons I do that is because if you are given a credential which is supposedly regulated, supposedly, mark of assurance that you will provide good quality evidence-based information, etc., that you'll be regulated, that you're put in positions, you're held in a certain regard, you should be held to higher accountability. It's much, much worse if a registered dietitian is giving out poor nutrition advice, or a registered nutritionist is, incompetent, than if a personal trainer, who really we shouldn't on paper go to for nutrition advice. But obviously, personal trainers do, are able to provide some basic healthy eating advice, and and there are others who perhaps work a bit outside their scope of practice at times. There's lots of them, and they are way outside of their scope of practice, but there's a continuum, right? So yeah, dietitians, doctors, etc., it's really bad when they are completely incompetent. I got 10 minutes into I recorded a podcast, and then I realized only 10 minutes recorded because my phone did something stupid, and I was super annoyed. It was like around New Year's, and that was talking about how doctors I essentially went into this. Doctors are this. The party line is, oh, you've got a health issue, go and see a GP. As though, why are you asking people in a Facebook group? Why are you asking people on the internet? Why are you DMing Martin McDonald? Like, go and see, why are you doing research yourself, etc., etc. Why are you asking people for recommendations of practitioners in your area to help? Go and see your doctor. And, even like nutritionists who there are, an MNU certified nutritionist, we are very strict. We are very upfront about the kind of scope of practice. We're not trying to treat disease. We're not working with people with chronic kidney disease, people with cancer, etc., etc. But there are other areas where you're not trying to treat their diabetes, but you can very much improve their nutrition that will help everything with regards to their blood glucose management, their insulin sensitivity, their health, their quality of life. An individual with PCOS, obviously MNU certified nutritionists are, give or take, it's your best bet. If you're going to pick one professional to help with that, an MNU certified nutritionist is going to be the one. Like, you go and see a registered nutritionist, it's very hit or miss whether or not they're going to be able to help you. Even the same with the dietitian. If you go and see a specialist, registered nutritionist, and who specializes in PCOS or dietitian, then great. But all MNU certified nutritionists will be hot on PCOS, for instance. A bit like with body composition nutrition. An MNU certified nutritionist is going to be way, 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 I don't want to say better. What I'm talking about is if you had 100 dietitians in front of you and 100 MNU certified nutritionists, an MNU certified nutritionist is going to, you pluck one out there, the chances are you're going to get one who's amazing at body composition. And if you line the MNU certified nutritionist from the best to the least competent, and the same with the dietitians, at every single stage, the MNU certified nutritionist will be better. It's a bold statement, right? But I guarantee you it's a fact. Anyway, gone way off topic. The point of today is about bad personal trainers. And I guess I just wanted to, I'm a bit annoyed at myself for that big prelude, because I thought it would be nice in this podcast to be something that people could send. They get a new personal trainer. I want to call this out. Like, I have followers. I even have followers because I reach a very wide demographic. Like, there are professional IFBB pro bodybuilders who follow me. There are people in that realm of health and fitness. I don't fully know if you can call it health, but the ones that follow me, some of them are, they're making informed choices and healthier choices for the type of lifestyle they're living, all the way through to academics, doctors, whoever, researchers. But I do have people who still are like, I had someone unfollow me the other day. They're like, I'm unfollowing because of this ignorant post, where I basically said, the government guidance is out there. for healthy eating. You just have to look. Like, the delivery of it might be poor. The way dietetic services deliver it, might be poor. The way that food industry jumps on those messages and uses them and twists them and to sell us processed food under some kind of health halo effect. They put a little tagline on it. Oh, it's low fat. But it's like, yeah, arsenic's low fat as well. It doesn't make it healthy. Anyway, there's not much content to this podcast. It came into my mind because I saw someone post on their story about their personal trainer, and it was like a message they got from them, like, new year, new me, and the personal trainer was like, right, like, start prepping your meals, get some consistency in your life, like, stop eating. No, I think the wording was something like, no more croissants and no more milky coffees. And I was like, oh, it's just painful to see that, because the types of personal trainers I mix with are more often than not the better end of the spectrum. And lots of them are individuals who want to either expand their business into nutrition, or completely switch from personal training to, or like impersonal personal training to online coaching, or to just become a purist nutrition specialist. And they might turn up not great, but often if they're doing a menu, they've done a bit of self-development and realized some of the rubbish they were maybe taught is not good. And, there's a certain standard. It's not always the case. But anyway, obviously then when they're doing a menu, they just end up getting a million times better. So I forget that there's still these like bodybuilder-esque, personal trainer-esque, clean eating-esque muppets out there who are just putting people on fish and rice cake nutrition plans. And this individual who posted this was just a relatively normal 9-to-5 worker, not an athlete, not someone necessarily competing. Like, when you are going to compete in a show, things do get more monotonous at certain stages. They never have to go 12 weeks of just the same meals every day, broccoli and white fish for 5 meals. And anyway, it's just not necessary. So this is just to call that out. If you have a personal trainer doing that, get a new one, or send them this podcast. Like, there is no reason that you need to be eating in that way. And if anything, it's counterintuitive. You will end up worse off. I guarantee you. Like, I read something actually recently, something about there's no, I don't know, maybe it's about relationship. Like, there's no bad relationships, only learning opportunities, and there's no mistakes or failures, there's only chances to learn and stuff like that. Like, yes, the only thing you'll get out from that is a chance to learn that doing that probably gave you an eating disorder, or very disordered eating, or led to you, just a worse relationship food where you just were back to square one. The problem is people always kind of take it on themselves and go, it was amazing, he really helped me, I just stopped working with him and just piled it all back on, for instance, to use the types of words that would be used. And it's like, oh, it's my fault. It's like, is it? Or is it the fact that the method that was used was utterly unsustainable and moronic? And he's a moron, he or she, is a moron. And you didn't fail the diet. The diet failed you. It's this idea of, I fell off the bandwagon. It's like, it's because the bandwagon was a pile of, and you were never going to stay on it. It's like a buckaroo thing. Is that what they're called? These buckaroo things where, normally it's American women in short skirts that are posted on the internet. I don't know why I said American, but I just imagine it's American. I've never seen one of these buckaroo things in a bar in the UK, but they just seem to be all of these like cowboy Western bars. And anyway, they get posted on the internet for obvious reasons, because #sex sells. Anyway, that was off topic. But, those buckaroo things are not designed for you to stay on. Although I did see this one guy who's standing on top of it and was like riding it like a surfboard / whatever. He was able to move his hips very well. Well done him. But anyway, so yeah, he managed to ride it. And do you know what? There are people out there who do the super strict stuff and carry on in their robots in their life, and fine. But when you're paying someone for nutrition advice and you are a normal person with a normal life, with normal desires to have some, that was it. I don't know if I finished my sentence. Did I say milky coffee or milk in your coffee? Like, wow. Like sorry, I can't have 50 calories worth of milk in my coffee to make it nice, palatable. Like, it's not like, you're probably going to struggle. What were they called from Starbucks? Unicorn coffees or something, rainbow coffees or something like that. And they were like 1,500 or 1,800 calories. It's like, yeah, maybe don't have one of them daily if your goal is to be as healthy and as, lean and whatever as possible. So anyway, like, there's just, physiologically, we know there's no need to eat like that to lose body fat, for instance. These are individuals who were like, this individual's meal prepping. So there's not just like, oh, you need to eat, a slightly more whole food approach, less ultra processed foods, because you're not weighing stuff or prepping stuff or counting calories, or you don't have loads of structure. Like, if you have loads of structure in your diet and you're meal prepping and all this kind of stuff, like, you are able to therefore have more flexibility with food choices because you're weighing stuff or counting calories or these kind of things. Absolutely bonkers that personal trainers like this still exist. But obviously, this is what I say about when I talk about gratitude or happiness and stuff like that. Is like getting perspective. Like, I need to remember, even again, when, like, right now there's this whole thing about, we've all got 24 hours in the day and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. And like, being able to gain some perspective, like, if you come from a certain realm of or socio-economic class or whatever, like, getting perspective for it's like, the Joe Wicks thing of like, eat nuts and avocado, they're really good and this healthy stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, those are slightly more expensive foods. And yes, if, people start going, oh, it's about priorities. Like, it's just, like, if you make it a priority, you'll make it happen. And there's people who are like deciding whether they prioritize eating some toast or some beans themselves, or whether they starve and give it to their child. And when you just get a bit of perspective for that, and that's only a perspective I gained maybe in the last 10 years. And, before that, as I always talk about, as a young nutritionist, newly qualified practitioner, etc., like, and the type of clients I was working with, I would say stuff like that on the internet. And obviously, even with this individual who's gone, we've all got 24 hours in a day, like, they're young, they have their perspective. Like, who didn't say something stupid when they were that age? But it's for the rest of us to, or when you get older and wiser and continue on this journey of self-improvement, it's like, yeah, you know what, it's always good to listen to other perspectives and gain those things and go, oh yeah, do you know what, actually, maybe there are other perspectives out there that are worthwhile. Like, there are some ridiculous perspectives and wrong perspectives and incorrect things, like, they're just dumb. The science have proven they're dumb. They're not just like social issues. They're not just opinions. Like, there's science that show, like, a flat earther, right? Like, you're dumb. You can believe that absolutely fine, but you're incorrect, but it's absolutely fine for you to live your life with that, on that pretense. It doesn't change anything for it. You're not hurting anyone. I mean, you hurt me by being so stupid, but that's my problem. I need to, face my inner demons of being hurt by utter stupidity. I do actually genuinely have an issue, like, that I think is wrong, and I actually spoke about, like, in therapy once. Just like, I have this. It's bad. I never like got really, really deep into it, but I just remember bringing it up. And yeah, it's funny. I really, really have an issue with stupidity. Anyway, I share way too much of this podcast. Cool. I'm just going to leave it there. I don't know if that was helpful. Lots of you guys are big fans of the podcast, so you'll just have enjoyed a couple of smiles and some perspective, and you'll help me to call out when you see dumb personal trainers giving people, no sources. You can't have any milk, a dash of milk in your coffee, or even a lot of milk in your coffee. It's amazing there's anyone out there who isn't now on board with this idea of like flexible dieting. It feels like anyone who's stuck in the dark ages of that just, Who knows? Anyway, right, much love. Until next time.